Okay, now we just wait and see whoever hops on in. We are live.
They'll be hippity hopping in.
It's gonna be a long week.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
The end of the month's going to be crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the end of the month and the beginning of next month is going to be pretty fast. And there's a lot of things on the schedule.
Yeah. I I feel that. I'm just wondering what's next. Everybody definitely wants me to come out this summer.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one video's almost got 300 likes now.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yep, and I
That's
already
good.
I already said if we get 300 likes, I'll be doing that whole session in the attic of the Belair house. So that it's almost there now. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
I know there's some people out and about, braving the cold weather at paranormal conventions and horror conventions, and like a whole bunch of different gatherings are going on this weekend too.
that's exciting.
Yeah, I just don't like to travel when it's this cold.
Fuck no, I don't either. I have to walk. I walk to work every single day.
Oh
So
gosh.
if it's
Sorry.
like really snowing, oh, don't be sorry. It's okay because it's like right across the street. Thank God. But like when it's really bad, and that icy cold wind is blowing at your face. I mean, I got sick 2 weeks ago, and because of that, and it can be rough, especially when you
Yeah.
like step in puddles and stuff, and then your socks are all wet and ice cold and stuff.
Yeah, that's no fun.
No,
No.
no, not at all. No.
Did you ever hear the old saying? This is funny. So, like parents, you'll hear your parents sometimes say, well, well, at least my parents and my grandparents really, well, back in my day, I had to walk 4 miles to get to school. Like, did you ever hear those types of sayings?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have. It's like,
We really did. I mean, we had to walk like a mile to get down to the bridge to get to the bus. I grew up in a really woods, like, oh gosh, there was acres and acres and acres of woods that is just really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I uh, I didn't walk to school, but I walked home from school,
Yeah.
which was about a mile and a half from my house. Hey, Rain, how you doing? First person hopped on in. This goes to show that YouTube didn't notify anybody about this live stream.
Notify people.
Yeah, probably didn't.
Oh, you're frozen.
Oh, am I?
Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, that was weird. The whole thing just shut down.
Did it like freeze?
Yeah,
That's freaky.
that was really weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Um, hopefully that's not a reoccurring theme. You know, just chilling. Nice, just chilling. That same with us. We're just chilling, talking. Hopefully some pretty interesting. Hey, Adam, how's it you doing? Okay, so people are getting notified now. That's good.
Oh, good.
It took a minute though.
Yeah,
YouTube
people might
sucks.
not know who I am. Hi.
Oh god, yeah. Now you froze for a second. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know. That's two.
Yeah, that's two now. Hey guys, thank you so much for hopping on in. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, it's gonna start out, I guess, really chill until we get more people on in here. But yeah, I really enjoyed our conversations last week about the our favorite horror films and whatnot. It's
Yeah,
fun.
that was fun. We did a marathon.
Yeah, we did. That was 4 hours long. Where is everybody? I don't know. YouTube didn't notify anybody about this live stream like it normally doesn't.
Maybe if everybody just starts commenting and then we're clicking on their comments, it'll get it into the algorithm.
Yep. Yep, the more likes and stuff, the more YouTube will actually give a shit.
Isn't that the truth?
It really is. Unless like your videos do decent, YouTube's not going to care. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, how is my microphone sounding? I need to make sure before we really get into it. Because unfortunately, my microphone's being extremely stupid.
Let me see if I can share this and see what happens. Hold on a minute.
Hey, how you guys doing? The microphone is really low.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. What if I bring it up to like really close to my face? Is that better? This is gonna suck if this is an actual issue with this microphone. I got an extra microphone, but that would mean I'd have to like do the whole setup and everything. And oh, it's better now that I brought it up to my face. Okay. Well, it's gonna have to do for this live stream, unfortunately. What?
Just this one Instagram post that I made on our when we first started, like the first one to let everybody know we were on. I wrote up waking up the dead and rebuking the fake coming soon. I can be such a mean person sometimes. I didn't mean it like mean, but it's just it is what it is.
Nah.
So,
I've kind of been making a lot of videos recently myself that have to do very much with talking about what this whole 1 week at the Conjuring house did to the paranormal community.
yeah.
Because I've noticed it. You know, I used to I reacted to a lot of paranormal investigations, but before this whole week at the Conjuring house video came out, not nearly as many people would be going on my videos and commenting they're fake. Not nearly. Like people are like almost like help people open up a third eye and started
Hmm.
making everybody like look at stuff more closely instead of just watching for entertainment. Like I've noticed that a lot of people are now commenting saying, "Well, this is how they probably did that. I think they're over exaggerating. I think," and it's kind of crazy to see that stuff now.
Keep making the change, you know? It's just all that's all you can do is just keep people informed so people know the truth. You feel what I mean? I think it's great. I
Yeah,
think it's absolutely great.
yeah, because you know it's like if you watch paranormal content for pure entertainment, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't come after the people who actually want to find real answers.
Remember when you told me to watch Mythos?
Yeah,
Okay, well, I did.
did
And and the girl that he had on it was last sometime last week. I'm going to share this on Instagram real quick. And the girl that he had it was last week when I watched it. So whatever girl he did had been to my house. And she was in the living room with all of her friends and I think it was like called something metaphysics. I can't remember.
you're talking about the meta psychics.
That's who they
Yeah,
are. That's right. Right.
yeah.
So anyway, she's been there with all of her friends. And then what really aggravates me is this. First of all, stop being so boring. Like, show some emotion. You know what I mean? Like, I had a hard time getting through that because I'm like, this is like Bueller drying paint, watching paint dry. Second pet peeve is, well, it really should be the first. The first one is this: don't stereotype grandmothers with the white hair and pulling them in to your living room after this already happened months ago and saying that you're connecting to them because
Yeah.
I call bullshit. I don't think that's right. And they always, I mean, Tool put out a song like um gosh, and it reminds me so much of this. How are you going to pay your amends to the dead? Okay, so like when people that do this kind of stuff. When they transition, right? Those people that they're playing with in this realm are going to be standing there waiting for them. And they are going to have to make their amends. They're going to have to pay their debt to the dead.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's not real. What I'm sorry, I don't care. Don't ever come to the house again. I really don't give two. But anyway, you know what I mean? That's like not cool. You just can't do things like that.
Well, the main thing that really kind of made, and look, a lot of people really wanted me to check out this channel, Metapsychics. A lot of people really did. I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna watch hour-long videos of psychic mediums watching the same videos I had already watched. I'm not gonna do that. But one of the reasons why a lot of people really started getting on the fence about, and I hate to say it, but just psychic mediums on YouTube really got a big backlash because of the whole Satori and Cody thing. There were a lot of psychics, people who claim they are psychics, agreeing and actually describing the method that Satori and Cody were doing, like everything that was going on the other side.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, they've been debunked as fake. So, what does that say about the psychics who were explaining how this method worked and everything? Now it's like, oh shit. Now
They're not accurate.
there's now a big backlash that's happening, and now
Right.
people on their channel are saying, "Oh, you're fake. You're straight up fake. You're defending, con artists." And it's like, well, you kind of did it to yourselves. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, they did.
yep.
They really did.
Have you seen any of the debunking videos on Satori and Cody?
That's all I watched was the debunking videos. But this is when, you know, this I didn't really watch videos until I'm just going to say it, but not say it again. The Sam and Colby scandal from the Sinai guy. That's when I really started to pay attention to YouTube. Listen, I would post stuff on my YouTube page and I would check my numbers and stuff like that, but I never ever paid attention to YouTube as much as I
Yeah,
have been since then.
yeah. It gets addicting
That's
after a
why I
while.
watched.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting and so informative. That's why I'm so grateful to the debunking community. I don't think people realize how much time and effort goes into actually sitting there and analyzing hour-long videos and trying to figure out every small detail. And not all debunkers are calling paranormal investigators fake. There are actually some that are trying to like say, "Hey, guys, there's an air conditioner behind that door. It might have shut the door," helping them out. But
Right.
people automatically just want to throw the debunking community and the people, like the realm of people who want to cancel people, and that's not the case all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are debunkers out there, and I'm not going to name any names, who really kind of try to drill a knife into the back of some of these people. Like, they really do not like some paranormal channels, and it's not like I can't understand it, but like sometimes they're really aggressive at it, and I'm like, oh wow, like they're really trying to start shit with this person. And those
Hmm.
ones I'm not a big fan of. I like debunkers who are respectable, right? They call out BS if they think they see it, and they give their thoughts and their opinions, and that's awesome. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the ones that are really just, I feel like they're trying to start shit to start shit.
Right.
It just feels like that when you're really kind of calling these people MFers, and it's like, oh my god, calm down a little. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy. They just take it too far.
they really
You
do
know,
sometimes, yeah.
people do. People just take it way too far. I think that's silly.
And they're out there. Oh, they're out there.
Yeah.
Yep. But we got actually people hopping on, and then we have like 17 viewers on, which is awesome. A lot better than what a few minutes ago.
Hi, everybody.
Yep, just in case. Hey, NDT, Tanya, thank you so much for joining. Rain, Adam, everybody, thank you so much for making it. How are you guys doing today? America, how are you doing? But yeah, and I think Mythos might have really, I mean, I would never have noticed all of that stuff in the first week at the Conjuring House, where he just shows Cody and Satori the entire time, and every small movement in this guy's leg, he zooms in on, and he gets him. Every time there's a knock, the guy leans slightly forward, and I'm like, I would never have noticed that the first time around.
Right.
And you wouldn't have. And if you had years of practice, you could pull that off without anybody initially just looking. You just think that he's just standing there, but no, he's actually slightly leaning forward every time. And I'm like, he's putting pressure on his foot to crack his joints. And Mythos pointed all that stuff out. And even at one point caught his joints moving in his ankle. And I'm like, guys, that's not his muscles just moving. That is him concentrating and popping his joints to make the sound. That is exactly what that is.
Imagine that. Like imagine having that kind of golden ticket. You see what I'm saying? Like you got a direct connect with one of the greatest, awesomest paranormal investigators in the field of paranormal research, and that's Jason Hans. Imagine having that direct connect and then just throwing it all away. I mean, that's crushing. As a person, to me, if that was me, oh my God, I don't think I could get up out of bed after that. You see what I mean? Like that's like
Yeah.
how you, but I mean, people were like Hollywood, I mean that too. I'm not meaning it in a negative way. I'm just being speaking facts. People just can sweep things under the rug in showbiz, and it never happened. Even though there may be, big controversies on, what is this, what is that, this is, and then supportive data, kind of like paranormal stuff.
Yeah. Like,
And no, it didn't happen.
nope. Nope. And look, I have a lot of respect for Jason Hawes, and I don't blame him. And I've said this many times. I don't blame him for coming out and trying to defend his kid. I mean, it's his kid.
What else was he going to do? I would defend my kid.
Yep.
I'd stand on the front line and take a bullet for my kids. You know what I mean? Like
And that
that's what you
kind of,
do as a parent.
metaphorically speaking, that's kind of what he did in a sense, because there's a lot of, I don't want to say the word hatred, but it's true. There's a lot of hatred right now for somebody
Aw.
like that, and it's sad. I mean, I don't think Satori and Cody deserve death threats. I don't think they deserve to be treated like inhuman garbage. I really don't. But
Well, first of all, they're kids and they're young, right? Okay,
yeah,
let's go there. And what do we do when we're kids and we're young? We make mistakes. As long as we apologize for our mistakes, learn from our mistakes, refresh, restart, regroup, begin something new. I mean, definitely take time to process like they are doing.
yeah,
Let's just throw up some props there. Real talk. And then come back at a different time, learning from the whole entire experience and just
I
being
do.
better.
I do think like they're certainly old enough though to know better than like to pull that kind of stunt. I truly do. And then if my dad started getting involved with my big scheme and then start throwing himself out there, I would start feeling guilty. I'd been like, oh crap, my dad just threw himself out there for us. And like I don't know. I just feel like, and people were asking me on the other night when I was live, do you think Satori lied to her dad? Do you think and I'm like, I don't know the personal behind the scenes stuff, but
I mean, I'm not pulling the psychic rope here, but what I felt strong.
yeah,
I mean, when this whole shindig was going down, I was across the room from them. You see what I'm saying? Like we were all gathered together in that big convention.
yeah,
So I didn't even know it was going on. I mean, I don't pay attention to stuff like that. But you could see that she is extremely talented. She grew up like knowing what is right and what is wrong. And look at her dad, right?
sorry,
So
he seems like a guy who would call out any BS. Yeah, like he does not seem like a
yes.
guy who'd put up with it. Yeah,
So look at this theory. This is just a theory, right? So you know how we get when we actually are in a relationship or care about somebody. And these two, showed America that they really cared about each other, right?
yeah,
Imagine being fooled. I mean, that's a theory. Maybe she was lovesick. Maybe she was not lovesick, but love struck, and she didn't see it because when you love somebody, you take the good, you take the bad, and sometimes we're blind to what they do.
that was a theory going around. Was that
Was it?
was that Cody was the one who was lying to her, making her think that they had a gift together and this was like a real thing. And of course, that is in a theory of itself. For all I know, they could both be on it and both lying like that. For all I know, you know. But
Yeah, yeah, it could be.
I I
It just seems
certainly,
stronger that way to me.
yeah, I certainly,
And I could be completely wrong. Listen, I honestly, I don't really pay attention to paranormal things because I can get in trouble for doing
yeah, I've gotten in trouble. I've gotten a hammer thrown at me several times. Like, it is what it is. Like and she sent a nice message to me. I'm not sure if you know this. She actually reached out to me.
I heard you say that.
Yeah,
This is when, yeah, like I was listening to you. I was listening to like two other debunkers, and that was pretty much it when this whole shindig was going down. And that wasn't until like November, probably the second week of November is when I really started paying attention to everything on YouTube because I'm pretty sure that's the week that, I got that phone call. Please don't let blah 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 blah.
yeah,
Like what?
yeah, yep. But I got a message from Satori, and like it was a it was a very respectable, nice, kind conversation. I did let her know, though, if this was your attempt to try to change my mind about how I feel, it's not going to work. I did let, in a respectful way, I told her it's like if you're trying to win me over, it's not working. But I do appreciate you reaching out to me and actually trying to make some sort of like a respectable, she was trying to say that she respected my opinion. And because at that point, I was not 100% thinking they were fake, but I was on the verge. I was probably saying things along the line. I'm like 50-50 with whether I believe you guys or not, because in every way they have responded to this controversy was the completely wrong way to handle it. They were making excuses up that made no sense whatsoever, and they even went out of their way. And this is something they said. They said they did not want to be viewed as lab rats.
What's that mean?
Because
I don't know.
because what people were asking them to do was take off their socks, asking Cody to take off his socks and shoes and show us that he's not popping his joints. And he refused to do that because, in their own words, they did not want to be viewed as lab rats. And I said,
blame him.
And I said, well, here's what I said. Because I tried to make a point out of it. And I'm like, okay, it's interesting you say that, but isn't it kind of like people who go out paranormal investigating, when you have spirits turning on flashlights and moving cat balls and things like that, aren't you treating the spirits of these deceased people like lab rats in a sense?
Yes.
And I'm like, what sense does this make? It's just asking, to take off your socks and shoes for science to prove that you're not popping your joints. And if you can do that, we're going to be mind blown. There's, everybody's going to be freaking out. Oh my God, you guys are legit. And it would have saved their careers. But they kept making excuses. And that to me is a red flag. Especially as paranormal investigators, you're going to want to try to prove the existence of the afterlife. And that,
as a real one, yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I just don't believe them, because that's the way they respond to everything. And we don't feel the need to prove ourselves, is another one they said. And it's like, guys, you need to give us something to work with here. We can't just you're just going to take our word for it. But, but it's like, if the knocks are really coming from around the room, you should be able to show us your joints and them not popping. Simple.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's not complicated.
Is your audio low?
Why is your Mr. Wizard asked, why is my audio so low? Well, I'm trying to make it louder, but my microphone, like if I turn it up, it's just gonna go right back down. I already guarantee it. This
maybe
sucks.
Just keep checking it.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe just keep checking it.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna keep doing it, but like right now it probably is very loud.
That's good. That's not bad.
Yeah, but then it's gonna go right back down, like it just did. It just did. Yeah, see that? And I didn't even touch it.
Maybe get a toothpick and stick it in that little hole.
It's so aggravating. Like, I want to try something really quick. I want to see if this changes anything. Are you ready? Is that better? Does it sound any different?
A little bit clearer.
Oh, okay. Let me try something else then. How about this?
That's the same.
Oh my gosh. How about now?
Same.
Now?
Same.
Now?
Same.
What the heck? How about now?
Same.
That sucks.
It's good. It's clear, but it's the same volume.
Yeah, now it's back to normal.
Okay. Not paranormal, but normal. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks because now people are going to struggle to hear me. And it's like right on my face.
Yeah. Hello, Panther. Thank you. Welcome back too. Judy, Tiana is with my son Lane. They're spending the weekend together. And then, yep, when Judy's not here. I was so sad when I woke up this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because normally, my alarm goes off at 6:45 and Judy wakes up with me with my alarm. And the first thing we have to do is wiggle our butts outside in the cold so she can go outside. And then it's, on because the cats know I'm awake and I'm attacked every morning by 7 cats to feed them, So I miss Judy, but, not being attacked by cats was really nice this morning.
I bet. I have something else I'm gonna try really quick. Oh crap! Really quick. This might work or it might not work, but it's worth trying, I guess, so people can hear me. Okay. I so hope this works. Can you hear me better?
It's the same.
What the hell? Well, maybe on the live stream it's different.
Maybe.
On StreamYard it might be the same. I hope that helps a lot, guys. That's probably all I can do though, unfortunately. There's not a whole lot I can do. They said it's louder.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I had to turn it up on my OBS. Okay, it's not like overshadowing Christian at all because I turned it up really loud. Gosh, I feel so professional.
It's part of the job, feeling professional, working on volumes.
Yep, that makes me kind of want to open up my other microphone and hook up my other microphone for these live streams. Well, NDT says, I heard you all both just fine.
Good.
I guess it just depends on what you're using. Which still sucks because you want it to be as clear as obviously possible. It's going down and up. What does... I don't even know. I'm almost just tempted to give up on it because we're gonna be messing with it for hours if I do that. It's fine. I hope so. I hope it's at least fine.
Well, if it doesn't get fine, maybe just put a whole bunch of ghosts in the comments and then we can see the ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be funny.
Okay, Junie says it sounds they both sound clear.
Oh, I thought you said Judy. My heart melted.
Oh. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, but yeah, we can get back into our talk really quick. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. The volume is a little bit sucky on my microphone because it's stupid, and I have to try to figure it out. But anyways, yeah, that's the whole controversy with Satori and Cody and all that's gone down, and I haven't been really secretive about how I feel about it. But it's because, when I watched that video, I didn't question anything. I cried. I mean, I really thought we had like an actual like communication with the afterlife. So I felt like I got taken advantage of.
Yeah, I think though once you start hands-on investigating, you're going to get that confirmation in real time from you.
Yeah.
And then you will believe. You know what I mean? Like there will be no reasonable doubt, no doubt at all, because you'll be witnessing it. And that really does happen. It does. But, like we were talking about last week, people that have never done an investigation, people that really don't leave their homes, for whatever reason it is, this is what you are led to believe because this is what you trust. Week after week, you build rapport and you trust, people that put out content like this. And when it's a big letdown when it's not said to be real,
I agree. I agree. It's just I just don't like being lied to. That's why I call it out. Because I think it's pretty. And look, the message of that video is love, right? That's the message that Satori and Cody wanted to pass on through this fake method. But do you really feel like it's love when it comes from a lie like that?
Well, you have to remember, what is the most thing that every human being wants?
Obviously, yeah, love, of course. But I just feel like coming from people who are laughing in like when they lied to everybody and using like dead relatives as a way to win people over, I just feel like it's a giant spit in the face. Like it doesn't feel like if they're lying about that, do they really believe it's love, or are they just saying that just to make me feel good about falling for their lie? Like I don't know. It just feels weird.
Well,
I believe in love, but
yes, yeah, but I think that everybody, even I'm just going to say it, even as a psychic with psychic lines,
yeah,
the majority of my calls are about love. They are. 90% of them. So when you are doing content, you want to gear things toward love, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going to resonate and touch the most people. Romantic love. Now, deceased love, yes. In the paranormal, oh, 1,000%, right? And 1,000%. But in the general public that doesn't watch paranormal, but you just hashtag the word love and short film, indie film, guess what's going to happen? Your short reel is going to blow up because all they're going to see is love and automatically think romantic. Now, if you have somebody like in slow mo embracing as a buildup,
Yeah.
it's going to go all the way up. And I kind of know somebody who put something like that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a marketing trick.
Well,
It's a marketing
well,
trick.
because no one's gonna argue with love. No one's gonna argue with it. So
Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it.
yeah, it's.
And look at them. They represent that perfect love.
Oh yeah, they just got. I'm pretty sure engaged right after all this controversy went down.
Oh, this is where my parenting skills would have went in a little different. Me personally, I'd have been like Lane Staley. Oh hell no, you will not engage with that person. I would be no as a mother, but I'm a very strong mother. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah.
my husband and my son say, "Ma, stop being so controlling." Yeah, and I get that, but no, like my first gut feeling would have been like, "Oh no, none of my kids, none of them are going to do that." With this person, like you're going opposite directions because clearly this guy's a fool and a lot. I'm sorry. Jesus
You got into it.
Christ. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
The truth came out. Whoops. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're
I'm
good.
not sorry. My therapist says, stop saying you're sorry when you're speaking the truth and how you feel. And I'm like, I'm not sorry. Sorry.
I always say I'm sorry. Always. Every time I'm about to say something stupid, you know I'm gonna say sorry first. Like
Yeah.
sorry, but this is how I feel.
I know it's awful.
Yeah. It to it's just
Let's move on.
yeah. I truly think it's just a fucked up situation entirely because you really wanted them to be honest. I mean, they come off so genuine on camera, but the more information that came out, it's like, guys, you pretty much put on this lie as your own. I can't trust anything you say at this point. So what's the point of even liking you if I can't trust anything you say?
This is true. And I just want to state this for the record. The little piece that I did today had some things sewn into it that's going to be up and coming on the film that I've been working on, a project I've been working on. Know at the very end of this, and hear me now, please hear me now, and let's document this because people are going to say, Kristen's a liar. Look at that fakery. Guys, it is fake. We made it like that on purpose. At the very end of
Yeah.
this film that's coming up, we did that on purpose. Now, is there stuff on the in between that was for real? Yeah, like 2 or 3 things. Yes. But one of the 3 things was humongously big. And I hope to God that we got that on film. I think we do because I had it on my phone. And I'm pretty sure that Caitlin was actually filming with camera 2. Who knows where camera 1 person was? Who knows? But it was when a hip hop artist was upstairs in the attic and there was a flashlight dangling down from the ceiling and it was turning on and off while he was asking questions, but it didn't have any batteries in it.
Oh.
That was for real, for real. Like that was 100% real. But the other stuff, like the lamps falling
I
over,
was literally about to say I don't really buy the flashlight method until you said there's no batteries in it, and I'm like, okay, well that's a bit alarming. Like,
yeah. But like the wardrobe doors opening up, no, no, that didn't happen. We were just pretending to scare the 2 hip hop artists at the very end. We were trying to scare the crap out of them to get a natural reaction. And then, I mean, we all know it's fake. That part of it's fake, but
right.
it wasn't.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least you're acknowledging it was like instead of I don't know.
No, because people are going to say that's baloney, that's this, because I'm like, I'm really, really going to put a lot of time and energy and finances into producing this and marketing this. So you'll hopefully everybody will start to see it. I'm hoping this year, but I don't know. It's like just if you want a sneak peek of like what we're doing, just maybe put that link in here, that one link. Now, I don't get paid for the link because I have a copyright on the music.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But I don't care about the money. I want to get it out there. You know what I'm saying? That's all I
I
care
understand.
about.
When you first posted it, I think it was like 3 minutes out, and it already had like 5, 6 likes on it. I think.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. So people are looking at it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I did watch it, and I did like it too. So.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm like got the straw in my hand today because I stopped smoking in July, but when I would edit and when I would write like write stories, write books, write for other people too. I'd always smoke like Woody Allen. Like I'd always have a cigarette in my mouth and one lit in the ashtray and just kind of double smoke. And this is like the first full day of working on the book and then editing too. So I
Oh
got
yeah,
my straw as my cigarette.
it's been a really busy afternoon then.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Cody and Story were introduced in a movie theater. For me, don't forget that. So FS, it's money grabber for them, in my opinion, and love what we're meant to do.
Well, Cheryl Crow said love is a good thing. Love is a good thing. That's what she said.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I will never argue with love. It's just I feel like because it came from them and their message, I don't know. I just don't find love in lying. That's my thing. And to
Yes.
me, it's just a big fat lie. And I
Well,
just,
Elton John, his writer, Bernie Taupin, said love is just a four-letter word.
yeah, yeah. No, it just, and then look when you're making people cry, like right in front of you, you're telling a lie and you're making somebody cry, and you can sit there with a smile on your face and just pat him on the back saying it's okay, but you know for a fact it's not the truthful answer. How can you sleep at night? Like, how can you do that to somebody on
When you're
camera?
caught up in listen, this is just my perspective on that. When you're caught up in that moment, pretend like you don't know what the woman's name was, that it was his grandmother or what she looked like. Just pretend like all
Yeah, yeah.
you get caught up in that moment and you hear these things, you feel these things, you see these things. Somehow you just know these things. And what you're saying is a major confirmation to that person. Could have that happened to Satori? Could it? Could it? Because I think it's a big could to look at. And if that is the case, if it truly is the case, she would be ecstatic and she would be like on a paranormal high, on a psychic high, riding those psychic
Well,
waves because she's
that's
getting confirmation.
right, right. But the thing here is, they got those messages through Cody doing the knocking method, which has already been kind of proven that it's his joints popping and making the knocking sounds. And Sam did not know this at first, but you can Google his grandma and it shows the nickname that they used that won Sam over. And even he said, and he was saying too, nobody, nobody unless you're my family know that my grandma has a nickname. And then we looked on Google and there's Libby, the nickname. And I'm like, so you can Google it and find it right there on the obituary. Easy. It's like, and then he was saying, and he actually made a video in response because they did not know this, but they said, guys, yes, if you look at my grandma, you can see that she clearly has the nickname Libby. So
You know what? I that you were just reminded me of something. There's a game called Ghost Court. Swear to
yeah,
God. Have it at the Belair House. It's where you have a defendant and a plaintiff, a judge and a jury and a bailiff. And you get certain different like landmark cases that, like the ghost is suing the human for the emerald necklace because it was actually theirs and they buried it before they died in the bricks of the house. And when she remodeled, she found it and she wanted to keep it for herself. Like silly things like that,
yeah.
right? This reminds me of Ghost Court because clearly there's evidence to where she Googled it or he or she Googled it. They
It's
Googled
a
it.
very good possibility. And hear this. Hear this.
Mm.
Apparently, a couple weeks, and these guys are employees of the Conjuring House. They're on the website. Apparently, a couple weeks before you go to the Conjuring House, you have to schedule. So you have to write your names down and make an appointment and everything like that to go out there and do what you're going to do. So Sam and Colby more than likely typed their names out, and obviously everybody knows who Sam and Colby are, so it wasn't hard to find them. And then all they have to do is go to Ancestry.com, and they can find names of relatives very,
Quickly.
very quickly. And a lot of the stuff that they could find were probably on Ancestry.com, to believe it or not, but they've had a lot of time to do their research on them to make sure they didn't F up. And people were asking, well, how did they know the producer? How was he? He was mind blown too when they started saying stuff about him. And it's like, if you look
No,
up Sam and Colby's producer, the name is right there. Like, it does not take, a rocket scientist to do your research.
here's a. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to.
Go ahead. I've already said a lot of shit.
How do we know? Here's the theory. Here's the theory. Conspiracy theory. Let's say that.
Okay.
Hypothesis. No, with no meanness intended, or no harm intended. How do we not know that the bellboy didn't feed them?
That was an actual theory going around, that the producer could have given them all the information. And look, there's a video. Okay, if you go, have you ever met him, the producer?
No, I've only talked to him on the phone, and then I mother effed him.
Okay, well, there's actually a footage of Sam and Colby in the Conjuring house, and there's a head that pops up through the basement and goes back down. I put a side-by-side shot of the producer in the video because he's in the video.
Right.
And the face in the basement. And people were like, oh, what is that? That's some sort of ghost. That's a demon. I don't know what the hell that is. And all of a sudden I put it next to each other, and it's the fucking producer. Same hairline, same glasses. You can see his glasses. And I'm like, guys, I think it's pretty obvious who this is. Like, it was the producer coming up the basement, noticed that Sam and Colby were filming, laid down on the steps, and tried to get out of the view. That's what happened. And yes, it looked weird and odd, but that's because of how dark it was too.
Here's another theory. So let's just say that Sam and Colby don't do post-production or edit their film. Okay, let's say that. Let's say that they just completely moved forward and was on to XYZ, right? And probably a new A, B, and C. And then they outstreamed their video for somebody else to chop up and make a storyline. And that person didn't know that it was the bellboy. And he or she honestly thought that it was them. And then after it was all put together, they just ran with it. Who knows? I mean, for sure, there's some confessions out there.
I'm kind of wondering if they didn't notice it in the editing process. And then when apparently there's an actual tweet, Colby says, "What is that?" Now this made me suspicious because, well, if it is the producer, you should have known if your producer was in the house or not, because I didn't even know their producer went with them to places until after that video, because I was like, oh, where did he come from? Because they take a moment to stop during the first episode of The Conjuring Week, and all of a sudden their producer's in the room, and I'm like, well, who the hell is this? They didn't introduce him in the beginning of the video or anything. Now he's just there, and it's like, so he's...
Why? I mean, why? He doesn't go on other locations, does he? Not that I know of. I mean, I could vouch I've never met him, and they've been to the Blair House, the Ross House, West Virginia Penitentiary. They've even come as far as, like Virginia too, I believe.
Yeah.
And the Carolina. No, not the Carolinas, but not that I'm aware of. But no, they've been on this side. They've been on the East Coast.
Yeah.
All over it. Definitely.
And looking at that, footage, and then seeing that the producer was there, I'm like, guys, I think it's clearly obvious they bring the producer to places, and
that's
like maybe not you, maybe they didn't bring him there, but like he started maybe joining them at some point, going on these investigations. But if they're gonna bring him into these videos and him gonna be there, and they're not gonna acknowledge him there, how many times has this guy been around in these videos that we're just not aware of?
Oof,
yeah, because I didn't think he was ever a part of their videos until that Conjuring series. I'm like, wait, who's this guy? Because that's the first time I ever seen the guy. But I'm not saying they're faking. I watched a body language specialist look at Sam's reaction to his grandmother.
Damn, they went that far to a body specialist? Holy cow.
Well, there's one on YouTube who actually did, and he says Sam's reaction was very genuine. And I'm like, okay. But I've already thought they got duped. I already thought they were in on the lie and they got fooled like a lot of people. So that really didn't make much of a difference. So I don't think they would lie about, the reactions like that. But this whole producer thing, I mean, that was the producer in the basement. I hate to tell people that wasn't a demon. That the guy had a hairline. He had glasses. I mean, demons don't have.
I saw that. I saw Beardo post that debunking video of that clip.
Yeah, but people were theorizing it was a doppelganger. Somebody took the form of him. And I'm like, that is such a cop-out answer. The guy got caught on camera. He ducked down. There's nothing, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think there's anything special and crazy about that. He's just, he fucked up, basically.
Yeah.
He was like, oops, and then just dropped to the stairs. What if it was a doppelganger? And look, you can theorize all you want. That's fine. But guys, I mean, it was the producer. I don't want to be that douchebag who wants to ruin and crush people's hearts and stuff, but I 100% think that was the producer. I really do.
It's hard to tell anymore. It really is. The paranormal community, like, I mean, a lot of people have been trying to get famous from it. It's just the way it is. But recently, I feel like the paranormal is just killing itself. It really
The
is.
people who are in the paranormal are killing the paranormal. I hate to say
Yeah.
it. Like that's people, the select few people unfortunately are really starting to, and it's already happened. That whole Satori and Cody thing was a giant wake-up call for people. People even started they were still defending them even when I wasn't defending them anymore, and they were still defending them, and then more information came out, and it's like I honestly don't even know what to think anymore. And people kept telling me that I don't know what to think anymore, and it's like that they did it, you know.
Hmm.
It's like, but you know what, at the same time it's a good thing that they did it, because then it opens people's eyes up more,
Yeah.
because you don't just I get wanting to watch videos for entertainment. I mean, I do it all the time. Of course I do. But I actually have a genuine passion for the paranormal because I've experienced things. So, yeah, when I watch a paranormal investigation, 99.9% of the time, I take it kind of seriously because I'm actually trying to find real evidence.
Hmm.
So when I find out someone's lying, I'm like, well, great. Now I just don't know what you're telling the truth on anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a lot of those people in the paranormal community, unfortunately.
Oh, somebody just put in chat Ghoul Games that Sam and Colby gave Mythos his recent video copyright strike.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's oh my god. What? I wonder. It was the flashlight video. They had Sam and Colby on the front, and he's like, "Stop doing this," because the flashlight method can be very much easily tampered with, and it's so true. It can be. There's a lot of debunking videos on the flashlight method. That's fucked up. Poor Mythos, man.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not, I mean, no.
God, I would love to bring him on here and have him talk to us about it.
No, that's not cool. I mean, there's not cool on so many different levels, personal levels too.
Makes you sound kind of guilty, actually.
Maybe you better be careful before they strike you.
They
Very,
they could destroy my channel right now with all the
yeah,
reactions I've done. They could easily wipe me off the face of the
absolutely.
earth.
Yeah, they could, but you're not like billions yet. You see what I mean?
Nope, I'd be gone in minutes.
Hmm. Yeah, you're not into the millions.
If they really come after my channel, kudos to them, because that's just straight up
That means you're
wow,
doing a good job.
impressive,
Yeah,
impressive. Like I won't even be mad. I would literally be making a video laughing my ass off probably. Like you actually just destroyed my channel because of a few negative comments I've made.
yeah, yeah. I know. I know what you mean. I
Guys,
remember when Facebook, I call it dead book now because it's dead. But when Facebook was popping, we started our Belair House Tours Facebook page probably in 15, and about 2017, somebody got real pissed off at us because I mean, we were on fire. It was a Belair House. We were at our peak, and it just I had so many different skirt tail riders too. I mean, we were popping. So then somebody decided to turn us in, and now we can't do ads on Facebook. We can't. We're so limited, but all of our fan base is well. It's thank goodness it's dying, but a lot of our older fan base is still there.
yeah.
It happens. It happens to creators that are intimidating, and I think it happens to people that they can see potential into going up. And I've been very good at calling out, people that have qualities to be famous. So um, they probably see that in you too. So just be careful.
Yeah, no, I'm actually asking Mythos right now. Did you get a strike?
Hmm.
Because that, only three strikes and you're out. And I
That's true.
have a lot of reactions to Sam and Colby that use their content. So if they really wanted to, they can just shut me down like nothing.
I had an associate that was very popular in paranormal, and he started to do live streaming from, I would say, 2002,
Yeah.
if that's possible, to because I think that's how long he's been in the game. But um, about 5 years ago, somebody turned him in, and this was before YouTube was even popular. It was just on the verge of being popular. Like he was making like what you guys make on YouTube now for monetization is like times it by four is what he was doing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nuts. That's crazy. I'm just kind of dumbfounded at the fact that he got a strike. Like that's a copyright claim is one thing, where you just turn off monetization for your videos, but like a strike is
That's a big deal.
that is a very big deal. Two more and
Yeah,
he's out.
yeah.
Which that I wonder because if he's a new channel, he has not been in the game that long. He's already at 5,000, almost 6,000 subs. Maybe because he is such a small channel, but his videos are doing damn good at his opinions and theories. They probably think if we end him now,
He won't get there.
he won't get there, and his
Yeah,
opinions won't really matter all too much.
yeah. I hate people like that.
Now that's just theorizing. Obviously, that might not be what Sam McColby intended or thought, but
Right.
like that, you give those vibes when you start coming out with copyright strikes like that. You get those thoughts going through your mind, like, okay, what are the reasons why you would strike this guy for just plainly stating in his videos that the flashlight method's not accurate, it's not legitimate, and it is sketchy behavior. I agree, Francis. It is sketchy.
Hey, Francis, you were here last time.
I don't like people who try to control the narrative on things. Like, let people have their thoughts and opinions out there, and if you don't like it, just go about your day. Be respectful.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey guys, thank you for hopping on in.
I really miss Judy. I'm so sorry I keep thinking about that and saying it out loud. I don't know what's wrong with me.
No, you're good. You're good. I think anybody would miss their pet.
Yeah.
You know. Read my
It
message
was
above. What did Tony say? How long have we been on? 52 minutes. To be fair, the same happened to another creator, but Sam and Colby resigned it. I can't read that. When they resolved it when it was a reaction channel, when they realized it was a reaction channel. Well, more than likely, the strike probably didn't come from Sam and Colby themselves. It probably came from,
a fan.
well, either a fan or someone on their team.
They have a pretty big team.
I have no doubt about it. I don't know, that kind of irritates me a little bit. Like, it really
Yeah.
does, because Mythos is actually a very respectable, pretty nice, kind-hearted guy.
Yeah. I just started watching him.
But the videos he does, when it comes to debunking and how detailed he goes into it, is pretty impressive. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is not the first time he's been threatened by another channel or maybe a content creator. I've heard horror stories about Twin Paranormal and Side Eye Guy. So
Yeah. Just in case, ask again what our opinion is on the Spirit Talker. I don't have one because I've never used it.
I I don't think the guy seems like a really nice guy. The guy who made it, and I just don't think it's an accurate app. I think it's just something that kind of blurts out words that might sound interesting and creepy and whatnot. But I just don't buy it 100% personally. Phone apps are just not something I would use personally. Yeah.
I like to use them, but you have to make sure you're using it on just that device. Like you don't use your phone, you don't use your tablet, you don't use that computer. It's specifically for investigation purposes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. I personally probably won't use the flashlights or my phone apps when I'm at the Blair House. I'll probably use the basic stuff.
Bring your flashlights. I'll prove you wrong.
Bring the flashlights. Well, I'll take the batteries out, and if you can do it without the batteries in, then I'll be like, well,
Do it
then
with or without. Seriously, do them with or without.
I'll do both. I'll do
Yeah.
both. I'll do both.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with flashlights in the Belair house with batteries in them and with batteries not in them. And I get the debunking theories how the coil or the element heats up and it causes it. Like Keith H schooled me on all of that. If you don't know who he is, he's like the rock and roll paranormal person. He's a pretty cool guy. But we've talked about that. He's from Kentucky. We've talked about that for years So I get that. But at the Belair house, Glide and Emily love flashlights.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them. Oh, I got to tell you something. Yesterday we were driving home, and my husband said that he read somewhere that Pennywise and Mary Poppins were considered the same. And I said, "What are you talking about? There's no way." And listen to this theory, all right? And it ties into the Belair house because you know I'm crazy like that. So, anyway, Pennywise or Mary Poppins feeds off of people's happiness, where Pennywise feeds off of people's fear. And I said, "Well, Emily Davis feeds off of people's sadness. So she's just like them."
Wow.
The
That's
whole,
something. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. I never thought of it that way.
hmm
That is kind of weird.
yeah.
Wow. It certainly is. Did you see everything to do with the Miami? I did see a lot of that stuff. Yeah, the Miami Mall incident with the shadow aliens walking around.
No way. Really? Is that real?
It's not. I don't think it's. I don't personally believe they're aliens. It's definitely looks like because you do if there are real like 10-foot tall extraterrestrials running around, do you think we'd only have like really crappy security camera footage? I think everybody would be pulling out their phones and freaking out, and we'd be seeing these things running around Miami streets.
But what if aliens
I believe in
were,
aliens, by the way.
but what if hybrid aliens like had real pale blue eyes, were really, really tall, really thin, didn't eat meat, were not A positive, O positive bloodlines, B, A, Bs? What if they were like the different types of bloodlines, and B positive was the first bloodline from what I've researched historically? Um, what if that were true? What if that were really? What if that were true? Like, say, okay, let's pretend. Well, let's not pretend. So say you and I are in the Belair house and we're sitting in the living room, and somebody comes in that's like 7273, real talk, and they've got real pale blue eyes and their hands are real big, and you can just feel the radiating positive energy, like the healing high voltage, high vibe energy, just off of them, and crazy stuff happening around them.
I mean, it would certainly be bizarre. Yeah, I would. It would certainly make me question things. Yeah, if that happened to me.
And what if, like, before they showed up, you started, did I tell you about this? Like, started, this was nuts. Um, there was a heater, it was cold, and there was a heater that had a remote control. It was a square. You could turn on the remote control, and there would be like a K2 meter, like five red, like these blinking lights, right? Like these little ones, right?
Yeah.
And every time we would ask a question, and we noticed, so first of all, we noticed it was going up to so many different little lights, like the red lights would come up, right? And then sometimes it would be in Morse code too. And through like the old school obelisk, the word star people came up at the very same time that it came up in the spirit box, like both one reel to reel. What do you call reel to reel? Help me for a minute.
Oh crap.
Digital and um,
Digital and like.
why
Oh
can't
my
I?
god.
Yeah, help everybody, help. Digital and analog both at the same time spit out the exact same word.
Well, that is fascinating. Yeah, that's an
And
intro.
then weeks later, maybe a month or so later, the hybrid walks in and sits down, and crazy stuff just.
The universe is too big for there not to be other beings. It's just way too big. I almost feel like it's impossible for there not to be anything out there.
Hmm.
You know. But thank you, Francis. Actually, you did say analog. Yeah. But I star people is what you said.
Yeah. And then, I always ask the spirits, just show me a sign, make it a confirmation, and I'm sure that at that point in time I said something like that, right?
Right.
We have to understand, we don't get those confirmations like boom, boom, boom. Like, we don't get them in real time. we don't get them the next day. We might get them 2 or 3 years later because there's no time in spirit. It's proven. There is no space or time.
Yeah.
So I was watching Netflix here in my room, and I didn't live here at that time. I wasn't here yet, but I was here in my room, and on Netflix it said Star People. So it got my attention really quick. And I'm like, what the hell is this Star People on this unexplained show about, right? What is this? It's a Native American um, terminology for a certain tribe of, I think it was Cherokee, which Bel Air is full of Cherokee Native Americans.
Holy smokes.
And then there's a Raven Gramasi book. He's an occultist. Um, I think it was called Strega, um, and as an Italian witch. And he said something about the Eastern Quarter, because when you cast a circle or you petition into a circle and stuff like that, you call in the northeast, south, and west, and the elements that go with each quarter, right? But he had said that the Eastern Quarter was named Bel Air, Bel space
What?
HIRE, to the Cherokee Native Americans.
That's a pretty cool, like,
Information.
yeah, that's very cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so these are like pow.
Yeah.
Like those are the ones I pay attention to. I don't like do like, you know, even if here's an example, like even in when we ask for signs, and maybe somebody will be like, oh, I saw a feather and it was my dad, or a penny was heads up was my grandmother, or this butterfly is my son, or respectfully to all of these things, right? But for me, yeah, I live in Ohio, so you better have an elephant run through my yard in order for me to say, yeah, that was a spiritual animal sign. Because that would not be common, right? Those
Right.
are the cows of like energy that I need to clearly see. Well, with no reasonable doubt, this is what it is. So, yeah.
Yeah. Not. Holy crap! A lot of people just hopped on in here.
Oh, hi everybody.
Hi, 40 people are watching.
So I had a person that what triggered me to, just in case, said, "Do you believe in skinwalkers?" So I had a person call me today, and they had said, I've got my notes in front of me, but it was a residential case, and they had stated that there was the black hat man shadow.
That is a common shadow people see, or a hat man, a man wearing a hat that's just a shadow figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Corey Shear had a lot of experiences with what he would call the Hat Man as a kid, because he would mess with an Ouija board, and the spirit would antagonize him, and he would see him all the time.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's probably where I probably first heard of him, was the Hat Man. I've never seen a Hat Man shadow figure before, but
I
yeah.
did once. I
Did
did
you?
one time. Yeah, it was when my mom had open heart surgery. And no, I'm so sorry. She did. That's what it was. And she told me about it. And I visualized that's where I saw it. So she was in the hospital like 2 days after open heart surgery. And she called me and said that she saw the man in the hat, and like the jacket with the tail in the back of it, like the long
Like
tuxedo
a
jacket.
trench coat,
More fancy, you know
more
what I mean?
fancy.
Yeah. So, but he had the top hat on. So, yeah. And I remember she was telling me that, and I was trying to envision her laying in bed because she said he was sitting in the chair. And I knew that hospital room because I'd been there. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
could actually see that. Yeah. And that's something we got to be careful with too, because I mean, if we envision things and then we believe that memory to be ours, you got to be careful with that. Like, I thank goodness I remembered that's not the way that it was. Some people don't remember that. You know what I mean? They really take on that vision or that memory as something that's in real time when it's really not.
Right, right, right. Well, that's interesting, because, like, yeah, this is a reoccurring theme. I mean, there's probably like top 10 videos of the top 10 Hat Man sightings and whatnot, and people would be just seeing the Shadow Man walking around. Now, I've personally I've never seen this thing, but what do you think it is?
I just truthfully, when this person told me this, I just thought it was death. And then people say the death angel or something like that. I think that top hat shadow man, this black hat shadow man is what they said. I think it's death.
I mean, that's kind of where I was going. I thought it was death. Uh, do you think, because he didn't see him until he messed with an Ouija board, do you think that goes to show how dangerous an Ouija board is if death himself is showing himself around you when you're messing with things that you can't comprehend?
Yeah, I think a lot of people can see, like, people hear death angel, and then we think of an angel with wings that, might have like look like crow feathers, things like that, because, people have associated death with darkness and just it's a negative, you know what I mean? We shouldn't do that. We really shouldn't, because
No.
death isn't a negative and it isn't darkness. It's actually just moving on to a different dimension.
Yep. It's just a part of life that everybody has to do. I mean, at some point in their lives, they will. And it's like every time the conversation of death comes around, it makes you think, and it kind of it's a very interesting subject. I can understand why people are afraid of it, but I can also understand why people welcome it too.
I think that, when we look at the shadow men, the black hat shadow men, or we look at the dark angel, or we look at death, we have to put that in one category. And then we look at demonology, inhuman spirits, negative energy, and another, but they're negative energy. So it's kind of borderline right there, but that's in a different category. I mean, it's just a good devil, bad devil, I guess. I don't know.
It's such a complicated subject because
Yeah.
there's no easy answers for it. Like some people might view the shadow man as being scary. Like if they are afraid of death, they might not view him in a high, a bright light kind of way.
Yeah, I think that's weird because then that could be subjective, because if they know about him and they've heard stories about him, then that's trickery of the mind to think that this being is not
Yep.
what it really is because somebody told you it was
Because in
this.
their mind it was scary, but in your mind it might not be scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's weird. It's really strange.
was your mom scared?
She was. She gets scared a lot. She
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she called the other night and she said somebody's tapping on my window. And then like 2 hours later, she said, "Well, I feed the deer." It's like, wow. That's probably the deer tapping on your window, right? Sorry, I'm a paranormal investigator. I
No,
like
you're
to.
good. You're good. Someone says or a death omen. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I mean, think about it. What's the best way to find people dying in a hospital?
Yep. Well, that's why a lot of hospitals are as haunted and have so much activity is because those were the last places somebody was alive. A lot of times you'll hear like carts being rolled down the hallways and things along those lines. And I believe in residual energy too.
Hmm.
Energy that just reoccurs all the time.
Like a record, yes.
Yep, I definitely believe in residual energy because I feel like I've had more. I feel like that stuff is more common than even seeing just an apparition just walking around, like just the residual stuff, like hearing people like screaming at night. Maybe if someone was murdered, you would hear their screams at night of the incident. I mean, like a house like absorbs that energy.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
walls and the floor and
Well, also too, when you walk into different locations, like Blair House is an example, and you have a close connection to the spirit realm in the first place, there's two things that can happen. If you're a strong person, you're going to know that your ancestors and your energies are going to 100% take care of you no matter what. You're going to go in like the Joan of Arc or Hulk, either way,
right.
right? Second part is if you are weak and powerless and you do not have that spiritual protection about you from the forces that be, like Rain said, you can hear your people being mimicked. You can. It's a manipulation. Like Emily Davis, she poses to be a child spirit. She comes to people as a child spirit. Emily Davis is not a child spirit. She can turn into one. That's not a doppelganger. That's just something like a shapeshifter. I don't know. I don't even know what you categorize that in. right? I don't know what category to put her in,
Yeah.
but the truth, like it does happen. And there are spirits that can manipulate you and make you think that, hey, this is, your dad coming through, or this is, this person coming through.
That's how
And
they
it's
win you
real.
over.
Right. And their voice can be identical to what it is.
Well, during the first episode of Sam and Colby at the Conjuring House, people were speculating that there could have been a spirit inside the house that was actually mimicking Colby, because you would hear Colby's voice off in the distance, yet he's sitting right next to Sam. And people were actually thinking that it was something in the basement trying to mimic him, and even saying that's why there was a shapeshifter, because they saw the producer coming out of the basement, and maybe they were theorizing that. But what does that say about, if that was true, what does that say about Sam and Colby? Like, in what you said, like how if your belief is not strong enough, they will start using that as a, they'll start using, mimicking you and mocking you. And like how he heard Colby in the basement when Sam was doing that basement challenge, staying in the basement of the Conjuring house by himself, he would hear Colby's voice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an, I could just tell you stories that would blow your mind. Your brain would just blow up, but I mean, like explode. I mean, I'm very serious, but it if you ever have an experience like that ever, you will never forget it, and you will never forget how it made you feel. So to be, and I've never seen what these two boys did, but to have a presence of being calm and trying to rationalize that, and who knows what how long it took them, because everything's edited down, right? Stories and things like that. But it would take the normal person that experienced that, something that type of energy, that phenomenal, would take months to rationalize and decompress from.
Right.
It's happened. It's really, really happened.
I saw my friend one day who wasn't my friend. I was pulling up to the house and I had my glasses on, so I know my eyes weren't playing tricks on me. I was pulling up to the house, and we have a house. It used to be abandoned for a long time. The house next door, our neighbor died, and it was just abandoned for a long time. Had weeds and stuff growing over it. And I was pulling up to the front of the house, and I looked over, and I seen my friend standing on the side of the house, smiling at me. And she was wearing a pink or red hoodie. That's all I can remember. And she was smiling at me. I'm like, oh, she's trying to pull a prank on me. So I get out of the van and I go around the house and I try to cut her off. And she's not there. And her mom lives at that house. And I go up and I say, is she here? And she was like, no, she hasn't been in town for like 5 days. She lives like about 10, 15 minutes away.
Wow.
And I messaged and I'm like, are you in Leesburg? And she says, no. And I'm like, I just saw you. And she's like, what are you actually talking about? And I'm like, I pulled up to the house and you were standing right next to your mom's house and the neighbor's house, and you were smiling at me, giving me a big old fashioned grin. And she actually had to call me because she didn't believe anything I was saying. And I'm like, no, I saw you straight clear as day. And she's like, was that a doppelganger?
A slip in time.
Yeah, it was so weird. And
Abs-
I look back on that smile and I realize that was not a nice smile. That was a very off smile.
Sure. Well, that disproves what I was going to say. That I was going to say, I mean, I really strongly feel, because I've done it. We can actually surf the outer banks of the spirit realm. We could go from one dimension to another. It's like surfing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That does happen. Some people call out of body experiences. Some people call, wandering around in the ethers. Some people call it spirit soul search. Who knows what
Yeah.
they call it? There's so many things, but
It wasn't her. And she was like, well, I already know it wasn't me because I never wear pink hoodies. And I'm like, I've never seen her wear a pink hoodie, but it was wearing a pink hoodie. And I always ask myself, what would have happened if I didn't go around that house? Instead, I just looked straight at her and I walked straight towards her. What would have happened?
right,
Without taking my eyes off her, would anything would have happened to me? I don't know.
right.
But I'm kind of glad I did that. I'm kind of glad I just went around the house, because I just feel like something bad would have happened if I just walked straight towards her. Now that I know it wasn't her. I look back on that quite a bit, and I always think of doppelganger. I always think of that smile. It was very unsettling, because she was like doing this weird thing where she was going up from the bushes and ducking back down into the brush and the weeds going over the house, and I could still see her face in the middle of like the porch and the weeds. And it was so creepy how she was doing it. But I thought she was trying to prank me. That's what I was thinking. but no, it wasn't. It was something else, and I still can't explain that. But I was wide awake. It was in the middle of broad daylight, so it was my eyes were not playing tricks on me.
Right. Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. One time, gosh, there's so many stories, but you say broad daylight, and that triggered me to remember seeing Gary on my front porch. Was Gary was a spirit from the Belair house that I told that he could come home with me. Don't ever do that. Don't ever.
I was
ever
about to say, my mind was like automatically, well, that's something normally people wouldn't say.
yeah, don't ever do something like that. I got caught up in the moment, and a good friend of mine said, kick me out of my house because we made a pact with each other a long time ago. Listen, if we ever cross the line, spiritually, you throw me out, I'm throwing you out. Like, I don't care if it's my house, you throw me the heck out. And they did, thank God. But no, I was so caught up in that spirit session, that communication session, that I actually told Gary that he could come home with me
Was
or
that a
go with. I didn't say come home, but I said he can go with me. Um,
was that a bad thing or a good thing?
I it's a bad thing. You should never do it, but because you never know if the spirit's good or bad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Say good or bad, positive or negative. But I got so lucky, and it blew my mind because the story is actually on my YouTube channel, like the brief little reel about Gary, and it's really cool. You have to watch it, but I think it was a good thing because Gary ended up letting me know that him, his wife, and their son made it out of the Belair house. They made it out.
Oh,
They
so
weren't
they left. They
their spirits that left, but he showed up in the flesh. Flesh.
what was he doing when I already got my hair's already standing up. What was he doing when you saw him?
So when okay, so I was this was months later. This happened, gosh, who knows? This is months later. So we had a super full blue blood moon soiree at the Belair house. And that's when we made communication with them. And you always use astrology with paranormal. Always. You'll never lose with it. So um I was months later, I'm in my apartment. Nobody knows where I live. Nobody. And anybody that knows I live in that apartment calls me a different name. Okay. They don't call me Kristen Lee. So, you know, this I get out of the shower because I hear the doorbell ringing. And I go to the front door, and there's a guy standing on the front porch, and he said, I would like to look at the apartment below you. And I'm like, well, sure, let me get a hold of Laney. And he says, I've tried to get a hold of, the owner of the property, and I can't get a hold of him. And I said, well, let me text him. And Laney said, yeah, um, here's my information. The maintenance guy will get a hold of him. So I went about my day. Was leaving to take my son to bowling practice. I open up the door, and there's the same guy, his wife. Now, the guy at the Belair house told me that he was from Florida. His last name was Hetherington, and his name was Gary. That there's no Gary Hetherington on paper, none. Okay, so in the session, he said that him and three other guys were bound to the cubbyhole in the attic. They lived there, all three of them. Okay. So then he said he was from Florida. Then he said his wife was Milano. Then he said their son was 4 months, or no, 4 years old. And he plunged to his death from the gable that faces the north in the Belair house. He plunged to it. So evil entity lured him to the window, and he died. And his wife also died in the house because their son died. And he could not spiritually leave them at all because this thing in that Belair house was still present. So and there was a lot of people asking questions. There was a lot of really good investigators there that night. And the amount of information that we got drove me to the point where I was so emotional. I told him, you could lay in any bed, you can eat food, you don't have to stay here, you could come with me.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So anyway, because remember, prior to that, my son, when he was 2 years old, was at the top of that gable, the same gable, and he had the windows open. getting ready to jump out of it, saying that he was Buzz Lightyear and he was going to fly. And as he said fly, I grabbed him and pulled him back in. So that's why I think I got so emotional, right? That was so scary. And it wasn't that I was a bad mom not watching my kid. I was on the toilet puking and shitting because I had the flu. And I could hear Bella going up and down, you know, and then I didn't hear her anymore. So I knew that they were together. And I went up to the steps and a voice said, attic, just like that. I zoomed up the attic and just got him in time.
Yeah, that is I'm very much glad something let you know the attic. I don't know who that was, but they knew something was going on.
Yeah. So
Was
he
it
appeared.
was it like a male voice or a female voice?
Female. It was female voice. I think it was Lyde Hetherington. So then he appeared at my apartment. And, when I'm leaving to go take Lane to bowling practice, and I've already met Gary, um, he's standing outside of the house, and his wife is light skinned. So there's that. And she's 4 months pregnant. The child was 4 years old. I'm not getting it yet. I'm just like thinking we're getting new neighbors, and this is great. I love babies.
Do you do you,
That's what I'm thinking, right?
I'm so curious. Like, you saw them in the flesh. So like,
Yes.
what did they look like?
Gary was probably about 5'10",
Oh,
dark skin,
he's taller than me. Like, he's a little bit taller than me, yeah.
dark skin, like buzzed hair, but it had grown out a little bit. Um, he had a jacket on. It was cold. Very, very kind. This kind face, kind energy. Was really trying to get information. Was really, really needing help. Then I saw her, and she had hair about to here, cute little baby bump. You could tell that she was mixed. So
Were there when did they what I'm kind of curious, when did they die? Like, what century are they from? Are they recent or
um, I think it was. I'm not 1,000% sure. I have to look, but it was this century. It was the 1900s, right?
so they
So
were they like wearing old-fashioned clothes?
no, they were wearing clothes like we would wear right now.
That's that is something. That is really something. Cuz I was like sitting here in my mind thinking like, so this kid did like, well no, he you said he was 4 years old. Would this kid have known who Buzz Lightyear was?
Perhaps if he had watched Lane in his bedroom, because Lane had a huge obsession with Buzz Lightyear, maybe he was playing with Lane.
I mean, it would not surprise me at all. That is great. Like, that's
Gets wait.
my hair cannot, like, it's not going down. Like, it's standing
Well,
up. Like, yeah,
it's gonna fall off now.
dude, it's
It's gonna freeze up and fall off now because I walk around the house to show Gary and his wife, his pregnant wife, the apartment, and wait for maintenance and say, "This is where you need to wait. Good luck. Hopefully, we'll have a picnic on the back porch." And he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, "Kristen Lee, my family is eternally grateful for everything that you've done for us." It hasn't hit me yet. I'm like, "Oh, no worries, guys. Have fun. We'll have some really good food." You know what I mean? Like, see ya. So I get on the interstate and I'm driving Lane to bowling practice, and the light bulb goes off. I said, "That's Gary from the Belair house," and he gave me his number to text Laney. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So once I pulled off took Lane and pulled off and told Lane to just he was safe to bowling practice. I told myself, well, if this phone number is a Florida phone number, like Gary's from Florida, then it's 1,000% him, right? So I sat there. I mean, I'm not even playing. I sat there for about 10 minutes because I was like, what if it is? How am I going to handle this if this is? And then the other part's like, nah, it's not going to be.
And it was.
It was, yeah.
So when he left that day, did he just like put his hand on your shoulder and just walk out of the building with his wife? And
We were outside,
oh, he did.
but yeah, and I left them there. I turned away and I walked away from them. I had to hop in my whip and take my son to bowling practice, and they were just going to wait for.
That was the last time.
I've never heard or seen from him again. Neither has Lainey ever.
And she met them too.
He never met them. No.
That would have been nuts if she had Like
Now the maintenance guy did,
he
but
actually met them in person.
right.
Wow,
Yeah, the maintenance guy did for sure.
that is
That's crazy, isn't it?
that is next level. Like that is a next level experience. Like you do not hear of those kind of experiences all the time. Like I've heard of experiences like that, but you don't hear them all the time. It kind of reminds me, and it was Easter about several years ago. We were over at my grandma's house. This is probably back in like 2007 or 8. And my grandma had passed away, and the house that she used to live in Stanwood, Washington, was burned to the ground. It doesn't even stand anymore. That's the house I used to experience a lot of paranormal activity. And it was like Easter, and all of a sudden, the phone rings, and my uncle picks up the phone and answers it, and there's nobody there. So he looks at the number and realizes it's the number that we used to live in Washington State, which is across the country. And he literally went to go get my two cousins, Ben and Josh, and he showed them the number and they saw it too, and they're like, how is that actually physically possible? And the phone it called again apparently, and they went to go answer it, and when they got to it, someone hung up. But we told my mom and she cried because that's her mom, but we
Yeah.
automatically knew it was our grandma saying happy Easter basically. But yeah, that
That's
number, that house
crazy.
doesn't stand anymore. That number should not be. And of all the numbers it called my grandma's house across the
There's no
country.
chance of that. There's no That's paranormal.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
It blew our minds, and they would
yeah,
have no reason to lie about that.
right.
We all heard the phone ring too, so we just assumed it was someone calling, but they're the ones who answered it. And the first time he picked it up, there was actually someone there, but nobody talked. And that's when he hung it up, and then it called back, and he got someone else, and they saw the number, and it was that number, but nobody was there. It was an insane experience. I
Right.
wish I had seen the number because, but yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, the phone number thing, and there's no explaining it. I mean, it was definitely my grandma. That really killed me when she passed away because we were like here in Ohio, and my mom flew back to Washington to be with her, and it really shook me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay, but it was a cool experience though. I mean, it was a cool thing to happen. But her house was so haunted. Her house was
Yeah.
insanely haunted.
What happens when people keep having these paranormal experiences? Like go. I always go back to Dragon Ball Z. Like Kamehameha.
Yeah,
Like those types of energy.
yeah. Like it's a very powerful thing. Like there's a lot of people who have not experienced the paranormal, and I understand why they're skeptics. I really do. It is
Mhm.
something that it is pretty hard to fathom, like the concept of another world around our world or just out there. But after having those experiences, it doesn't matter if like all these content creators are fake or whatever. I don't need Satori and Cody to prove anything to me because I already know it's real because I've experienced it firsthand. And I look back on those situations and I always try to think to myself, how could that have been done? How could that be possible? But I still can't come up with explanations. And those are like the moments that make me believe in the paranormal because I can't explain them.
There's two really cool things in chat. Robert Stillwell said that a friend of his mom's died of cancer. 6 months later, she received a voicemail from her, and they didn't know if that was able to happen. I think it is. I'll tell you why here in a second. But another cool thing is, I like just in case because he's like, has everybody, or he or she said, has everybody in the chat had a paranormal experience? Has everybody? I mean, I think that's, if you can start throwing up some thumbs up or something, that'd be cool to see
Yeah.
if you actually have had one. But no, it wasn't just in case. It was, sorry about that, Robert. Yeah, I had a very decent, I mean, a close friend, very close friend, almost like a sister to me, a sister to me. I worked with in Salem, Massachusetts. We were both psychics for the Festival of the Dead. And the year that she did transition, um, she actually called me on my computer. Like, she called me on my computer, not on my phone. And it was really strange.
Yeah. Mr. Wizard says not being able to explain something doesn't make it paranormal. And there is a truth to that for sure, but I personally can't explain it. Like maybe someone in the world can explain to me what that could have been, but I just don't know personally.
I think
So,
when you run out of explanations, you
yeah.
can hypothesize that it's
Like
paranormal.
if anybody here can tell me how a burnt down house can still call a house across the country,
That's not
I
possible.
don't know how that's physically possible.
Mm-mm.
But you're right. Some things can't be explained. I mean, that can't be explained might not even be paranormal because there's still some
Now,
things in the world we might not even understand.
that's true. But then you've got other people that just, experiences at the Belair house say, this is paranormal because I can feel it, or I think I heard that. And they really, really want to believe it. And then it just, again, it ruins it for everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. No, it's a pretty. That's why the paranormal is such a complicated subject to have because you can dismiss a lot of things and you can like prove some things. It's such a. But it is fun to talk about. Like I understand like there are people out there who just won't believe it, and that's fine. I'm not going to force anybody to believe in something they don't want to, or just can't comprehend, or just don't want to believe because they just think it's silly. That's fine. If you do, you do. But I just have too many experiences in my past that, like for example, this example normally people say it was sleep paralysis. The story I told you about when I was a little kid and I saw all the shadows and stuff going up and down the walls. I tried to wake my mom up. I was pushing her shoulder, saying, "Hey, get up. This is scary." Basically, and she wasn't getting up. She was just like, "Go back to sleep." She was too tired. And then I had like a ball of smoke in the middle of the room shoot me in the face, like someone blew smoke in my face, and I got a fever. I still don't know how that happened. I still can't explain that. And I'm not somebody who would have like you wouldn't think I don't think about the paranormal all the time as a kid. I just didn't. But like these moments would just happen out of nowhere. And
That's crazy. You said the smoke and then you got a fever. I had a personal experience inside the Belair house in the basement that would just totally blow your mind. And I saw somebody say, "What was the most scariest thing that's ever happened to you?" That would be it, is when I had all of that dirt thrown in my face. I went blind. I couldn't talk. It smelled like I was in the subway with piss and shit all throughout the basement. And then I went gray and I ended up with a fever of 104. I thought I had COVID. I didn't have COVID, I had an attachment.
that's intense. That's intense.
Yeah, that was scary. It was so scary. And I never felt the most mentally unhealthy in my life. Like, if I would have went to a psychologist, they would have locked me up, but I couldn't, because we all knew what it was. And the series of events that happened after it happened, it would just blow your mind. I did an interview with Dave Schrader about it, and he dismissed it. And I was being very real with him, because people need to know that these things really do happen. They really do. And it's rare. It's so rare that it happens, but it did happen. And you people ask, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the devil? Yes. But I have so many different belief systems, right? I don't think you just have to believe in one. But truthfully, that's why I denounced witchcraft, because God saved my life. Like, that different type of energy saved my life. Okay, so let's break it down. Say you break your leg. Are you going to go to a head doctor because you need to fix your leg? No, you're not. Say you have a sore throat. You're not going to go to a cardiologist, because that doesn't make sense. So, in that same essence, like, if you're dealing with a true demonic entity, a real one, like, I'm being very real with you,
Yeah.
you're not going to go to, you know a different deity. You're going to go straight to the source of Catholicism, because where is demonology derived from?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So then, I mean, after that, after I said the prayer of deliverance, it was a tough road, but everything has changed. um but like how people that are Wiccan or pagan, they always say a year and a day. You have nothing but crazy stuff that happens to your life the day that you take a vow to be a high priest, or a priest, a high priestess, or a priest, or a priestess, right? that does happen. That is true too. That is very true. But I think it also resonates when you denounce a faith-based system, the powers that be, the higher divine, um, actually gives you that year and a day too, to throw everything at you to test your faith base. If you're strong enough and you withstand that faith base, then you kind of initiate and accept it. If you're not, then they don't accept you and you are nothing.
Right. Right. Right.
And there's a lot to look at, to theorize. There really is.
Oh yeah.
And nothing's right or wrong. It's just thoughts, you know?
Yep. I mean, no, if anybody, like, from my experiences, and it's interesting that you mentioned dirt and stuff. Yeah, because the smoke was like someone starting a cigarette and then smoking it right in front of our TV, and then the smoke just someone just took a big puff of it and just blew it right in my face. And I remember I started coughing profusely, and I just walked out of the room, left my sister on the bed asleep, and I went into the living room, and they said, "You are feeling hot," and I had a fever. And yeah, I still can't explain that till this day. I don't think sleep paralysis is going to give you a fever like that.
No, but other theorists or debunkers would say something like this, or doctors or psychologists would say you had had a fever, you were like delusional because of the fever. That's what they would say. And they would rule out what the spiritual component of it is.
Yeah.
They would.
It's interesting because my sister, and I didn't know this, and this is honest to God truth, she apparently said that she saw shapes and stuff going up and down the walls too.
Mm-hmm.
And she never told me about that. But I'm like, that night when I got sick, I saw shapes and shadows going up and down the walls. And she said, like, different shapes. And I'm like, yeah, different shapes. And so she had a similar experience, but she didn't get a fever like I did.
Right.
So I don't know. But
Maybe they just picked you. Maybe you were the one that got the biggest hit.
Maybe. But I guess, yeah, you could probably rule out that maybe I had a fever. I guess I had a fever or something like that. But I didn't feel sick before the end of that night.
That's what they would call it, was delirious because
Yeah.
of the fever. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're always trying to come up with rational explanations. They're always going to, and that's of course.
Mm-hmm.
And we always encourage that too, because maybe they're right. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
It could
you got to
be.
pull those out.
Yeah, it could be. Did it feel like that? Of course not. Not when I'm like a 7-year-old kid. No, it's not going to feel like that.
Mm-mm.
To a 7-year-old, it's going to feel like shit's going down.
Yes. And if the energy is intense as it is, and it was, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think that anybody, even you right now, would years and years later, if you would have to experience that right now, it would feel the same.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. I mean, for all I know, guys, yeah, it could have been a sense of maybe you had a fever that night, and maybe it was just slowly starting to get to me, and maybe I started seeing shit.
I think the only difference would be from then until now. If you had that same feeling as when you're younger, it would take you longer to process it because you haven't been experienced enough to life. As right now, it could take you a lot quicker to process it and move forward. I feel like you could have been stuck, at that young age where you potentially could not have been so stuck thinking about it and trying to rationalize it now because you've been conditioned to believe a certain way, because that's what all of us are doing. We're all conditioned to think a certain way once we get to a certain different age,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's so many ways. I mean, you could fall down the rabbit hole in the paranormal. You really can.
Oh, I agree. It's net. You can talk about it nonstop, and it's never endless. Almost. I mean, there's always something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It kills the creepiness. Was this on Japanese culture? When you buy a house, you have to. I'm just trying to see if I can catch up on some of these comments. Sam got mimicked too in one of the asylum and hospitals on the top floor. Interesting. Shadow Man, Corey, Shears. He's amazing. I agree. We'll double the total donations tonight up to $50. I mean, if anybody here wants to donate, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to say do it though. But if you want to, it's always an option. I appreciate it. My little niece was randomly crying really bad about her dad, and my aunt was wondering why, when my aunt called my uncle to see what was up, he was crying too. He just got diagnosed with cancer. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that. I hate that.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fair argument though. Do you see something?
I heard something, and there's no animals in right now. I was just trying to see if there was a shadow, like maybe Daniel came home or something, but mm-mm, nope.
Interesting. Well, talking about this stuff can also,
Trigger it.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
Hey, Trisha. Thank you for hopping on in. He was literally at the hospital when my aunt called.
I had a strange hospital story. I was I worked a lot in Salem, Mass as a psychic, and I did a lot of my training in Salem, Mass to learn how to combat negative energy. People that are assholes, like these guys from New England, are like, and a lot of the general public are always like, well, Kristen Lee, isn't that kind of weird? She went to Salem to, after she left the Blair House. No, smart. Where do you go when you need to learn? Salem. Are you people dumb? Sorry, but not sorry, right? I mean, that's where you go. You go to the best, and the best is in Salem for this,
Yeah, that kind
I
of
went,
field, yeah.
yeah. So I went and I studied under Lori Bruno, and I worked for Christian Day, and so that's why I went to Salem and I learned. So, but the day that I had to like hop back home, I still kept my apartment here, well, just to make sure that this was going to work out, and it didn't. So, but I was on my way home or something, and it was just me at that time. The kids were staying here for like the week, and Lori had said something about Katie, and that's my Aunt Katie. So when I got in to my Jeep, I put in the Garmin. That's how long ago it was. The Garmin. If you don't know what that is, it's like Google Maps, but it's a little machine.
Oh, yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I don't even know what they would be called other than Garmin, because that's what I had. But I just put in this address, and it wasn't the hospital or anything, right? No, it was the hospital. That's right. It was Wheeling Hospital for whatever reason. I put in Bel Air, but it came up Wheeling Hospital, Wheeling, West Virginia. I was like, well, that's 10 minutes. I can at least get to the Ohio Valley. But it went to Wheeling Hospital. And when I hit Pennsylvania, my Uncle Eddie called me and said that Aunt Katie was in the hospital and she was dying, Wheeling Hospital. And Lori had said Katie before I left Salem.
So it just kind of like was letting you know to go to the hospital.
Yeah, something was somebody, something, probably an ancestor, probably the spirits that I had been working with, because we can work with spirits that are for our greater good and can lead us to different better ways, different paths, different, they show us what we need to know. And if we have that spiritual faith-based system, um, it's an amazing situation. It's not, I know that there's stereotypes on the occult and witchcraft and things like that, but not. And I know that spirits can be tricksters. We've just talked about that, but this one wasn't. It really wasn't. And the deities that I was trained to work with were the archangels too. So to me, it just made sense when I made that when I converted, or when I went back to Catholicism. I'm still working with the saints and the angels, and that's never stopped. So what I was doing when I was still working with like Apollo and Diana and Yemaya and Baba, and sometimes Hakate, um, and I still love them, but I don't call on anything anymore. I just kind of, I'm in that universal energy now.
Wow.
And some people say it's because you've leveled all the way up. Who knows? Who knows?
I'm I might need to start like studying certain things, like getting a better idea because of course I'm a noob. I'm a YouTuber. I don't know a whole lot about what you've studied and whatnot, and but that does. I mean that there's no coincidence in like the hospital name just popping up, and of course like of all the hospitals, that's the one she's gonna, and then that's well yeah you've had a lot of experiences. Damn.
And every time that I have such a strong relationship with my ancestors, especially the ones that I've met while they were here. I remember meeting my grandma Antonia in 1970, well, when I was born, but and I think she died in 78, right? So I remember her clearly. But there's times I ask her for things to help me remove obstacles and help me be able to see clearly, and she does. And just a couple of months ago, I started to ask Aunt Katie, who's at the hospital, that transition, to help. And this was so strange. And I know the holidays are sentimental and people have sentimental things, but the when I moved here in this house, I still have things in storage that I'll probably never go through, right?
Yeah,
But
I feel
and-
that.
but I don't want to throw it away because it's family heirlooms and pictures and quilts and things like that. So I was putting up the modern day Christmas tree of Little Shop of Horror. So no traditional ornaments, no traditional nothing. And guess what just slides across the dining room table that day? A picture of Aunt Katie.
Just slides out in front of you.
Yes. So I picked it up, I put it in a frame, and I put it on a memorial altar because I still keep priests use altars, and so do I. So I put it on the memorial altar to honor my family for the holidays. And well, there it's always up. She's still actually up there. I won't ever take it down because clearly she wanted to be recognized and she wanted to be honored and she wanted to let me know that she was with me. So, I mean,
I dig
it's a
that.
good.
That's pretty cool. I dig that. Yeah. Yeah, and she has not done anything ever since.
No, she's just happy on the altar. Her picture's up there with grandma, and Roja. Like they're all together. She's happy.
I've thought about uh we had the idea of printing off canvases of like a picture, a really good picture of deceased family members and whatnot
Hmm.
with the year that they were born and died, and hanging it on like a random wall inside the house, just like a giant wall dedicated to people. We've thought about doing that once or twice, and I think we still might do it at some point because like that does seem like a legitimately cool thing to do to honor some people
Yep.
who have
Yeah, in
passed.
Mexico, that's a huge thing. And I think somebody just wrote that too. That's a very huge thing. A very dear friend of mine does the Day of the Dead. And holy cow, the altar that she makes. I mean, it's the size of a room. I'm talking flowers and like red type dough flowers and crystals and stones and candles and
They go all
like,
out, yeah.
yeah, hundreds of family portraits and yeah.
Hey, Paulina, thank you for hopping on in. Really appreciate you. That's crazy. Yes comes home too. I used a volunteer in one. I used to volunteer in one. Uh, do any of you have an object that you think a spirit or an ancestor is attached to? Personally, I don't. Uh,
I do.
do
At the
you?
Belair house. Yeah, the Belair house. They're attached to that house. Hetheringtons.
Well, yeah, the house is pretty much a giant conduit, isn't it? Yeah, like there's a lot of things probably still roaming.
And the
Um,
land.
Mr. Wizard made an interesting point. People die everywhere all the time. In theory, ghosts should be everywhere. I think they are.
Are.
They are. There could be literally a woman looking right at me, right behind me right now, and I will never know about it. For
Right.
all I know. I mean, for all I know. I remember we were driving through town one time, and this could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I don't think they were. It was nighttime, and we were driving. We were driving behind some of the businesses down here in the middle of town, and out of the corner of my eye, I remember seeing a guy and a woman, and the woman was wearing a big yellow dress, and the guy was wearing a brown suit. And I looked over because I saw them out of the corner of my eye. I looked over, and they weren't there. but I immediately I was not thinking of ghosts at that time. It
Right.
just happened. And it was so descriptive. It was like so specific on what I saw that it was so bizarre. And I'm like sitting there like, well, I think I just saw a couple ghosts because they're not there anymore. And that time period is not being rocked anymore. So I just, yeah, it was one of those random moments. I'm like, well, I think, I just saw a couple ghosts.
So, are you close to Poasttown Elementary if you're in Middletown?
I'm terrible at maps. um, I live in Highland County, Ohio. If you might
Yeah.
know, if you might know where that lives, you know where Hillsboro is.
Oh, like by Columbus?
It's about an hour. Columbus is about an hour away from here, but yeah, probably more towards Columbus area.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, then you might double check later for Poasttown Elementary. You're probably right beside it.
Oh my, is it like haunted?
It's very popular as a haunted location, yes.
Ooh, I had no idea.
Do you have a Renaissance fair that's close to your home?
I do know people who go to a Renaissance fair. I don't know where it's located, but I do know people who do go to one. I'm
Yeah,
actually
because
gonna
it's very close to there, the Poasttown and the Renaissance fair.
yeah, I'm gonna look that up actually. I'm gonna go to Google Maps and look up. Is it you say Poasttown Elementary?
Yeah. There's another one too. I just saw a Paracon today I wanted to tell you about. Maybe, if it works out, you could do a live broad or we could do a live broadcast from it, maybe.
What's that? What place?
I don't remember the name of it. My friend Lee's putting it on.
Oh, okay.
Mother Lee. So, we're friends.
Yeah. Okay, so Poasttown is only an hour and 8 minutes away from me, so
Yeah.
it's pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think I'm 3 hours from the Belair house, but
It was some mansion. It was off of the Middletown exit. Started with a W. I can't remember. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
hey, be sure to hit that like button, everybody. We have 40 something people watching and only 37 likes. I mean, we're pretty much there, but hit that like button.
Holy shit.
What?
PetSmart just got back to me about Judy being an ambassador.
Oh, for PetSmart?
Yeah. Windermere. The Windermere.
The Windermere.
That's where the convention is.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Do you know that place?
No, I don't.
I think you should. I think holy cow. They only have 40 tickets for the investigation. I wouldn't do a public investigation. I would always do a private one.
Oh yeah,
Because
I don't, is that like where there's a bunch of people investigating? Yeah, I wouldn't do that. They can tamper with the evidence easily by
yeah,
and you never
yeah,
know what kind of troll you're working with either, like some guy who just wants to knock off in the distance to see if anybody would pick on it and nah,
yeah. I mean, I trust these guys. I do. I trust Lee a lot. But it's March. The event is March 9th. Setup is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Event starts 10 to 6 or 10 a.m. to 6. Um, and then that night they're having a gathering downstairs of the Windermere. Um, it's 8 p.m. to midnight. DJ, karaoke, cash bar, snacks. Um, for that, vendors pay $10 to get in. But if you're not a vendor, you're just a guest and you want to do like this VIP thing, it's $25 a person. So I mean, they're reasonable. They're
yeah.
reasonable prices. Um, but the investigation is separate and that's $40. I wouldn't do the investigation. And if there's a vendor situation, if you really wanted to do that, vendor fee, it's $25 to be a vendor.
That's not bad.
That's nothing.
That's
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I think the reason why they're doing vendor fees is so everybody can chip in and pay for the location.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, they're doing it the right way. Now, if you see events where you're paying, $3.99 to get into a investigation with 40, 50 people, don't do that.
No, I mean, it's not that I don't trust people, but I also don't want to risk anything because you never know who you're going in investigating with.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you don't. You
Last
just
thing,
don't.
last thing I need is a bunch of kids or like teens or whatnot going into one of these buildings and then trying to crack jokes every few minutes and they're not being quiet and they're not. I don't know. I just don't feel like that would be fun. You ever had a bad movie theater experience with somebody?
Oh, yes, my son did. And this was awful. We went to see it, right?
Yep.
Pennywise. It. And him and his buddy, farm boy, deer hunting, Holden went with us, right?
Yeah.
And we call him country boy, good kid. But these like I would say 26 to 28-year olds. These boys were only sophomores in high school. I think about that time. These like 26, 27-year olds punched Lane in the head. They were drunk and they punched him in the head. Now I'm sure the kids were being assholes because young sophomore boys are. What else you gonna do?
But
You know what I
like
mean?
they got punched by a 26, 27-year-old?
Yeah, so I didn't like that, and I was out getting drinks and popcorn and things like that, so I didn't see it, but by the time I got back, the whole entire Bel Air football team, which, Lane was a musician, he wasn't a jock, they found out that it was a boy from Bel Air. They didn't care who it was from Bel Air. They just knew it was a Bel Air person. They met those kids out in the parking lot, and they destroyed them, the whole football team. And then the cops came. Why are the
Yeah.
cops always coming?
Jesus. So like the 20 okay, your kids, you said they were sophomores and they
Yeah.
got punched by like a 26, 27-year-old
Yeah, my son
and
did,
the
yeah.
football team destroyed those 26 and 27-year-old?
There was 4 of them, yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Did the
Bel Air
guy
people stick together.
did the guy go to jail for punching a
No, I think
minor?
he got banned from the mall forever. He's never allowed back at the mall.
Jesus.
Any store at the mall.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are and how tough you are. You cannot take on a full football team of people.
No. Mm-mm. Oh, I
Jeez.
walked out. Yeah, I walked out when they waited too. They premeditated because the movie had already started. They knew what they were going to do to these boys.
Yeah.
They knew it because
Oh,
after the movie was over, that's when they did it, when the movie was over.
and then they waited for them to leave the movie theater, go out to the parking lot, and they attacked them.
Yes. They blindsided
Jeez.
them. Yep.
Jeez. I mean,
Sorry, but
no, they
yeah.
deserved it. Why would you punch a minor? Like, you're lucky you're
Yeah.
not in jail, like prison.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Jeez.
something.
Well, my experience is nowhere near that level of bad. I went to go see the first Conjuring movie, and what we dealt with was at the end of our row. There was like a couple, and one of the couple brought their older mom, and their mom was one of those people. Every time something creepy would happen, she would have to say how she felt out
Oh,
loud.
oh
Don't go
no.
in there. I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, you dumb bitch. Like when that you seen The Conjuring?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When the mom goes into the basement, where she's like, whoever's down here, I'm gonna lock you in now, and tries to leave. She's like, I knew that. Yeah, I seen that coming. The door shutting in her face, and then she would just talk every effing time, and I literally gave them death stares. Like almost ruined the experience because she did not have like like a setting, a volume. Like she just let loose. I hate people like that. Why do you?
This one time we were in Gettysburg. We just rolled up. It was my friend and I and our kids and the older boys. Lane was it? Yeah, no, Nick didn't go. Lane went, and it was her son too. And we had just sat down at the Dobbin House to eat. If you're ever in Gettysburg, definitely go to the Dobbin House. You have to make a reservation, but go. I don't care. Take $50, put it in your pocket.
Yeah,
Don't
that good.
leave. Do not leave the Dobbin House, or do not leave Gettysburg without the Dobbin House and Antica Pizza. No, just don't. So We're sitting there, and these people are obnoxious, like just absolutely obnoxious. And this woman just will not shut up. And I was losing it because I have sensory, like I've rarely, I'm so sensitive. Like it's just a neurological thing. So, when that happens, I'm not able to focus. I start to get irritable. Well, my friend Carrie, not even playing around, like she wasn't, like she's, I don't know, she's probably like Moses or something like that. Like she like Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
So she did something, and it just stopped. And then she's like, and you will leave now. And about 3 seconds later, right in the middle of their dinner, they got up and they left. Yeah. They weren't even done with their food. They just all got up and left.
Yeah. Wow.
That was crazy. That was one of the craziest things that so nuts. It's just like I said, like what happens when you have like weird stuff happen to you over and over and over again? Mm. I mean, I think I'm nuts. Like seriously, but it's not just my perception. Like you and your sister. Your sister tells you later, "No, I saw that smoke too."
I like the shapes. Yeah, going up and down the walls. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I mean, if
It's
other
bizarre.
people are seeing it, like those punks from New England that just will not leave me alone. Um, let me tell you about this. So if I was lying and I was a scam artist, first of all, I would admit it, right?
Yeah.
Um, but how can I be that when at least 10,000 people, let's just lowball it, at least 10,000 people have rode up to the Belair house and they've all received some type of something to prove that
So
they
these
had experience.
these guys would probably go after almost any paranormal house owner then.
No, they just go after me. They got some kind of problem with me. When I went to a Paracon in Massachusetts, one of them actually was very intimidating. He came up to my table and he was extremely intimidating. He tried to be intimidating to me, and you know me. Look at me. I don't take anybody's crap. I won't.
Yeah.
But I try to be professional because first of all, it's my name and people are watching. So, but it didn't hit me until it was him until just a couple weeks ago.
Do these guys have a channel?
Yeah, I'll privately tell it to you and I'll
Yeah,
show it to you.
because I'm actually kind of curious if I've heard of these guys before.
Yeah, well, yeah. They've gone far too far as to even saying that their fan base from Ohio came in. I'm like, y'all are from Plymouth. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you even pulling in Ohio? Oh wow, I know why now. It's like,
We
listen,
have there. You say they're from the UK?
no, they're from
Oh,
Massachusetts. No,
Massachusetts. Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Interesting. I'm actually curious now. Do I actually seen these guys as like content before? It's
probably
it's
not.
probably gonna. It's is it like a
Like a podcast, like what we're doing.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
don't know if they're real investigators. I'm sure they are. They're probably perfect in every way. We can just call them Mary Poppins because they're
Yeah,
practically perfect. They know everything.
yeah,
But seriously, I mean, I think that if people have questions, they need to go directly to the source and ask people. Those are the ones that are like, why would you go to Massachusetts? Oh, geez, let's tell you why. No, I went to Massachusetts again. I'm going to say it again because where do you go when you have to learn the dark arts?
yeah. You go to people who know what they're doing. Yeah, like yeah, you go to the people who know what they're doing. It's like that simple. That's for every subject you want to learn in the world. It's not just with witchcraft or what
Right.
what. It could be for whatever. If I want to learn how to make a computer, I'm probably going to go to somebody who knows. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's that's a very silly thing to go after someone for.
That's just one of them.
Yeah, it's a silly thing to go after someone for. That argument could be made for anything.
And then they say I change my story a lot. I don't change my story a lot. People, content creators, don't get the history right.
Yeah.
And you never see me online doing a big stink. I think I've only done one reaction video to, well, maybe two of them in my life, and one was to Haley Reese. Oh, Jordan, it took everything I had at the Warren convention just to walk right past her.
Oh, she.
Every, yeah.
Wait. Who is this? You say Haley
Haley.
Reese?
Hi, everybody. It's Haley with Reese's Pieces. That girl.
I've never seen that girl's content actually.
Yeah,
What's her
probably. Well,
what's
don't.
what's her channel's name?
I don't. Something Haley Reese or
Oh,
something
okay.
like. Yeah. Now everybody's gonna go, but you'll see. Yeah, you have to scroll to the Belair House. Like it's to find the Belair House one. Like she has everything wrong. There's another guy that has everything wrong. Wait, that was them. Oh, yes, they did. They really did do. No, what they didn't do is they've never been there. They've never been to these people that I'll send you. They've never been to the Belair House, but they pretended like they were by putting in all these clips and pictures of the Belair House. The beginning is awful. It's absolutely, maybe they were there. I can't remember because that's how, like, I just don't remember, but I'll send it to you so I can refresh my mind on it. But I remember like literally saying, screaming, you guys got me there. I'll say, screaming, like, what the actual are you people freaking talking about? Why do you have to be degenerates? Why do you got duct tape around your shoes? You know, it's like belligerent things screaming at my TV because these people had it so, these people, it's like, I'm so, like, that you never should
Yeah,
say those people. You shouldn't. That's just wrong. But these people, there's no hidden hatred there. Um, they did. They just had it wrong. And then when they had it wrong, they blame me for, like what Kristen Lee said. She's a liar. Burn her at the stake.
oh my. Oh my. I'm actually not I'm actually kind of curious to check out their video now cuz I really do want
Yes.
to I do kind of want to see it. Like I want to see everything like cuz no I don't watch a lot of podcast stuff. I've wanted to do podcasts, but I've never done like research on other podcasts. Not really. Maybe
This one would qualify for a debunking video too.
what
It
it
would. It's awful because they do have investigations as part of it. I'm pretty sure it's the same people. I'm almost positive it is. I think it is.
did that
But
like
yeah, but there's another guy out there too that has, honest to God, he's never been to the Blair House. You can even see pictures that he posts as the Blair House that are not the Blair House. And then he starts attacking my kids. There's one thing you don't do with me is attack
yeah.
my, yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, I think to go after someone's family is already low as is.
Hmm.
Like that's always low. Yikes, yikes. I'm actually you're gonna have to send me
I will. I'll send them
the
to
actual
you.
page. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I've got to head out of here. I got to go down to the house. It's that time again. It's
Oh, the
Saturday.
Belair. Oh, does
Yeah.
someone have an appointment?
Yeah, somebody, like, there was a tour today and I think somebody else is checking in, and Daniel took the day off to go to Pittsburgh to the cigar bar. So he's out there smoking cigars and I have to stay home and hold down the fort.
Okay, okay. Well, that sounds like a fun afternoon. I would
Yeah,
love to go
right.
there myself someday and walk around it and investigate myself. It's in the ideas, that book of ideas and plans. So,
Yeah, well, thanks everybody for tuning in to, Jordan's channel and spending some time with us. Hopefully next Saturday we can do it too.
I'm going to figure out what's wrong with this microphone too, cuz that's going to bother me so bad that people can hardly hear me. Oh, thank you Robert for the $20, man. I appreciate that. We got a donation.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah, but all right,
All right.
I'll go ahead and let you go so you can go ahead and
Thank you.
get to the house.
All right. Thank you everybody. See you later.
Yep, I'll see you later. Okay. You guys should be able to hear me, right? I'm kind of curious now. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to figure this out right now. All right. Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there it goes. All right, my microphone's being stupid. Sorry about that. I apologize, guys. I don't know why the microphone was wanting to continue to do that. I'm so sorry. I really feel bad about that. But I hope you guys still enjoyed the live stream. I hope you guys had a blast. Again, thank you, Robert, for the $20, man. Hey, everybody, how you all doing? Yeah, we were just going off on conversations and whatnot. Hopefully, you guys had fun listening on in. Really means the world that you guys want to continue this podcast. If you do like this podcast, of course, hit the like button, subscribe, share the podcast. It would help out a lot. And I will be working on this microphone, and I'm glad you guys can still hear it, but I really would rather have it at a certain setting to where I don't have to keep changing it if need be, and whatnot. But anyways, guys, thank you again. I really appreciate every single one of you. I know it was a bit of a on the technical standpoint, it was rough. But all right, guys, I'll go ahead and head out too. So please keep it retro. Do take care, and I will see you in the next one. Have a safe day. And you might see me on the gaming channel, which, by the way, thank you so much for getting me to 700 subs. You guys killed it. 700 subs on the gaming channel. Can you believe that? 700? That's a big deal. We're almost to 1,000, guys. We are killing it. That is awesome. And 1,000 is our main goal right now over there. So if you have not, definitely make sure you check that out. But all right, guys, I will see you in the next one. So do take care.